we'll
to see
get
you. Nice
going.
to see Mike Patton.
Yeah, it's great seeing everybody. Charlie, can you monitor the and let people in as they?
Yeah, I'm a monitor.
Cool. Thanks, buddy. Right on, guys. Well, I'll show you just a couple. I just had a couple things I wanted to try to get accomplished in the beginning to show you. One of the things is that you can move chapters into different templates. I didn't know if you are aware of this, but um, so for example, I'll get out of I'm in my template, my narrative style. I just started a report. Let's go ahead and I'll start a sewer scope as just kind of an example here. But we'll create from template
Your
and,
screen's not showing, Dylan.
oh yeah, sorry. Helps if I share screen. Here, you guys see my screen now?
Oh yeah.
Cool. So if we go down, I'll just start a new sewer scope inspection. So we've got a template for that. We'll create it. So if I wanted to move, basically this whole template is all just one chapter, really. There's some inspection information, so I guess that's the second chapter. I guess there's three chapters. But if I wanted to move this into my template, what I could do is go to each chapter and copy information to another report. Guys, see that? So I hit the three dots on the top of the chapter, copy inspection information to, and then it'll let me choose which one I want it to go to. I don't know why it's not giving me. Here we go. It was just populating them all. So I have so many damn templates, it probably took a minute. But so if I wanted to move this, for example, into my narrative template, I think that's in here somewhere. There it is, narrative style report. I can hit OK. So let's see if this inspection information chapter showed up there. Has anybody done this or tried this? It can be kind of useful when you're have a bunch of different reports and you want to sort of, whoops, I hit the wrong one.
I've been interested in learning or getting into starting sewer inspections. Well, I think all I need is equipment, but is there some heavier certifications I need to do this?
It's probably good to do a little training. We could let like Mike Patton I know is on here. He knows a ton about, tour. I don't know if you want to chime in on that, Mike, but
Yeah, real quick, get as much training as you can. If you don't have a background in plumbing, if you got a background in plumbing, we're not going to tell you anything new. But the one thing and I'm going to throw that out here for everybody, and I think Jamie might want that piece of info. Came across two unique items recently. One, we are adding to our wonderful agreement that we do not have any input whatsoever to where the line runs. If it crosses a boundary into another property, it means nothing to us, period. That's your problem, not mine. The other
So
one is
there's no tracking involved.
you, if you are, you're really taking on some liability you probably do not want.
Well,
Right.
I'm not even started yet. I'm
Yeah,
just
but
saying what I realize you're saying is there's no tracking of the line.
well,
So
you can map it all you want to, but again, you have no responsibility of where that line runs to. The next one is
correct.
if you're in an old community, and this is one that I'm puckering about right now. We couldn't make it to the main. A 2-year-old inspection now couldn't make it to the main. We were silent on everything beyond, but we told them to get it further assessed because it's broken up clay. Well, the city, in their infinite wisdom, in the storm sewer, they're making a storm sewer repair. So they put a balloon in it above their liner to keep from damaging their liner. They're 6 hours behind and we basically have a flash flood, 3 inches of rain and nothing flat. All of a sudden they're putting water into the house that we inspected through the sanitary sewer or the storm sewer. And it's a grandfathered storm and sanitary sewer system there. And they flooded a house with 5 feet of water while they all stood around and watched the water level go up.
Um,
So now we do not determine anything to do with if it's city sewer, waste, or sanitary or storm. So
yeah,
there's your two pieces
interesting.
of information. Where it goes and storm or sewer, not our thing.
Interesting.
Yeah, a similar story is resulted in backflow valves becoming required here.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, like everything, it's nothing simple is ever easy, right, Mike? Uh,
Well, I am a licensed plumber and I know how to open up a system, and I've done it before, but I've just never had to furnish a report of what I'm viewing. I think the only thing in the report that I'm liable for in an inspection is possible damage, if I'm not mistaken.
You're,
Yeah,
lar-
damage,
you're living
roots, debris.
naively at that point. You're
Pardon?
responsible for anything. I said you're living naive at the moment. They can sue you for anything they want to and try to make you accountable for anything you want to talk about. So yes, if we're true and everybody's honest, you're responsible for the damages found or not found.
Wow.
but it does
How
seem
how
like
many
being a
how
plumber would
many
be
feet?
a good background for it in the sense that
Right.
it seems like you got to pull toilets all the time, you know, and I don't know. That's always been one of
That's
the
one thing, yeah.
No, we never pull a toilet.
you don't. Yeah.
It,
No.
it depends on how accessible the clean out is underneath the house. If you got like 2 foot of dirt, in crawl space that's open dirt, and you just got a little 8-inch clean out sticking above the dirt, that's kind of hard to think about getting a sewer machine in there
Oh, we
or a
drag them
camera.
in there.
Mhm.
It's just hard to think. I've done it with machines to clean drains like that, but a camera wouldn't be much easier, I wouldn't think.
No easier.
No.
Anyway, I'm hijacking Dylan's meeting. I can talk
Well,
that.
and we
I'm,
can we
I'm
can
sorry.
no, we can talk about it,
Well,
but why not we'll keep moving on Scribeware stuff. But so here I am in my template and I ended up with this inspection information chapter. So I was able to move that in. So again, I can go ahead now and I could delete this chapter, which I will because I don't want it here, but it was the copy inspection information to another report. That's the feature. So you just go under the chapter heading and the three dots. So anyway, is that helpful, guys? It's a good thing to know about. Part of why we did this is much to our all on the Scribeware team, our lament. We've gotten everybody into these PDFs, which is awesome, but seems to create an endless amount of support. They're very finicky. There's like all these fields that have to autofill and stuff, and they work most of the time. But anyway, one thing you can do if you want to, we can ship you a PDF form for like the 4-point and WinMit, and then you can move them into your template if you want that way. So that's kind of why we did it is again, you could go to the chapter and you could come up to the three dots and copy 4-point to another report. So
Hey, Dylan, while you're
yeah,
in there, since you're talking about the template moves and how to build, show them how to copy within, I'm trying to remember what I'm trying to tell you is where you can click the button. Basically, if you open up any of this, like the drainage in sight right now, if you'll click that with the three buttons on the right, any of them, and then where you got your pin now and the checkbox,
yeah.
what can you do with those?
Yeah, so this is good to know about too. Thanks, Mike. Is if you wanted to, and I used this actually recently, but if I wanted to move downspout discharge into like a garage section, for example, I could highlight it. I could highlight all three of these and I can click on move, and then I can determine where I want to move them. I could also copy them, which is kind of useful. So I could leave them here, but copy them into another section of the report. And I've actually, for the first time, started in my template to do this was unthinkable for me for years, for like decades. But like in my exterior chapter, I now have hose bibs. And so I'll report on the hose bibs and the water pressure on the exterior chapter, not in the plumbing chapter. And the reason I've been doing that is because of photo tagging. In my reports, I have these comments as I use them, they're tagged as a plumbing item. So my reports are now auto-generating a summary page of all of the plumbing items. So I no longer feel quite it's so important for me to have all of the plumbing things in one chapter of the report because it's actually more useful than it's ever been. I mean, my thinking originally was that a plumber could open up my report and like go to the plumbing chapter and find everything, but even then it wasn't totally true because I'd have things in bathrooms and things in kitchens and laundry, and it was always sort of broken up. So we could go. Oh, you guys want to look at that and see what that looks like with the tagging in the plumbing chapter? We could just do that real quick.
While you're navigating, Dylan, when you move them, that's not a permanent move, is it?
Well, if you put it in your template and you hit save template, then it'll be like
Okay.
that for the next one. So it
Okay.
can be you could do it for just a job, or you could make it permanent if you hit save template.
But you have to
I'm
remember, real quick, like I'm sorry, you have to remember to take the linked comments with that.
You do. We should experiment with that, Mike,
They
because
go with it.
I think they go with it now. They didn't originally, but let's
Okay.
experiment with it and see. So this was a job. I'm not done with it yet. So I have 18 items to review, but I was able to get most of this done on site. I'm going to hit publish. And I'm going to publish without updating my keystone. So I'm not going to send this to the client yet. I just kind of wanted to see how all my plumbing stuff turned out on this one because I've really kind of automated this. Now in the beginning, I just did the plumbing one recently, and I do need to remember to kind of like check on it and make sure it's the way I want it.
Another related thing, Dylan, is when you move something like that from, let's say you move the sewer scope, the whole template into your report, your residential report, you got to remember that thing is going to go to the bottom of your list on the left side. So you have to open the pencil and drag it to where you actually want it on the
When you move
side.
it, when you move something around, yeah, you may need to
Yeah.
move it. That's a good one, Charlie. So anyway, here's this report, and you can see I've got electrical items and plumbing items. So if we click on plumbing items, it's got its own little thing. I could maybe clean up one of those. But here's all the plumbing stuff all in one place. What's kind of cool about this is if you wanted to give this list to a plumber, you can now just copy that link at the top, and now you've got a list for just a plumber. And if I want to return to the complete report, I can just click back here. So far I've only done electrical and plumbing, but I could actually see doing this for all of the trades, or at least a bunch of them. Um, and Mike, this is stuff I was thinking that you could actually figure out ways to do this for your insurance information. You know, you unfortunately you can't use the pull down fields. You would need to use like a little gunny sack comment to fill it in, but then that could all be showing up in its own little separate thing. So anyway, that's kind of what I've been doing with those. Let's go experiment with that. I'm going to get out of this live job and we'll go into the one I started and we'll move a field around and see if the library comes with it. Because I can show you guys some things that I've done in my template.
Hey, Dylan,
Yeah.
I will say realtors are loving those little breakouts, for the individual trades.
Oh, great, Jason.
For sending
Nice.
out. Yeah, I've gotten great feedback from them. It's a hit.
Well, you know, the other cool thing that Jason brings up about that is it's a great excuse to reach out to realtors that you work with all the time and let them know that you're trying to make their life easier and you've got new features. I mean, with the whole, I've always thought when dealing with realtors, it's about building relationships. And so it's nice to have an excuse to reach out, and you could make a video about what you're doing with your, what you've been working on with your templates and why they're better and, or your reports, and use that as a good excuse to reach out. So that's awesome though, Jason. Thanks for that feedback, man.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So let's go under my electrical service, or excuse me, electrical distribution. And under fixtures, I have a bunch of inspector only notes that I built out. So let's do this in real time. This is something I've been wanting to experiment with. I kind of created a short list of bathroom things that are common that I might sort of forget to find. And these are inspector only notes. So none of these check boxes will print in the report. And I'll show you how I set that up. We can edit this section we can hit the little pen and that'll edit the bathroom section. And I have this set as inspector only notes. And so what I was trying to achieve here was to make a list of things that really was for my own brain of like, what should I remember to look at in bathrooms when it comes to the electrical system? So sometimes receptacles are too close to the tub, or receptacles used outside the bathroom or on a bathroom circuit, or there's no sink receptacles. So these would be common things that I wanted to remind myself to look for. So again, inspector only note, I built these as check boxes, and then I linked narratives to them so that when I click on them, I get a comment that I want. So that's cool. Now let's try moving bathrooms, receptacles, and electrical to my bathroom chapter. So we're going to edit the section, right? We're going to hit the pen, and we will, oops, not the pen. We want to hit the checkbox here. And why don't I copy it? And we're going to move it to, let's pick a bathroom chapter. I'll put it in powder bathrooms. And I'm going to put it all the way at the bottom. I probably should have made a little electrical chapter, but we'll do that. All right, so didn't touch this. Now let's go to that powder bath chapter and have a look. So we'll go to powder bath. We'll go all the way to the general bath. And yeah, it looks like it didn't bring those over, at least not yet. If it
I think
didn't,
you have to bring the whole section, Dylan, because
They do.
that could be that we just
then the
so
library goes.
yeah. So let's go ahead, and I'm gonna add a blank section below here, and we'll call this bathroom electrical.
But it still should just be as simple as connecting the libraries.
So we'll edit this, and I'm gonna move this down one now, right? So we'll move it, and we're gonna move it down into bathroom electrical. So now we've got
Powerful right
that
That's
there.
good.
So now we still don't have the narratives linked, right? So we want to bring our narratives over. So I can hit the three dots, edit section, and I can edit the library category here. And I'm just going to search up here, electrical. And here's electrical service. I don't want that. Electrical branch and finish wiring, 412 entries. So I'm going to grab that, update my library entry, and now these are orange. So now they're back and linked again because I got my library. So pretty cool. That's how I was able to move something, a whole group of fields and narratives, and move them into a bathroom chapter. And now I've got kind of a bathroom electrical. Let's keep going with it. Let's add some stuff. So let's
Hey, Dylan,
maybe add new. Yeah.
real quick, like if you were to say you got 412 entries, there's only 8 that apply in this instance. Would you then create a new library category that says bathroom only electrical, for example? Because if you start blowing away entries because you got 412 possibilities here, am I overthinking, or did it only bring the ones with it that you need?
It brought over all 400. I mean, I have like an entire electrical thing here. You could, get these comments and move them out of there if you wanted to, and have them separate. You could create like a bathroom receptacles library category. I don't think it'll slow anything down having the 400 comments there.
They really aren't. They're only available. They haven't moved anywhere.
Yeah, so I don't think it'll slow
Okay,
anything down or hurt me, but it's a good
thank
question,
you.
Mike. Yeah. So now I'm adding like I think these are like my comments, but I want to add some stuff that like I tested this. So let's edit this section again, and I made this, and I'm going to use the equal sign and bring it up. So now I've got these little equal signs can be a little fussy. There you go. We got it to stick. So, oh, it did for a second there. So now I've got bathroom electrical, lights and receptacles tested. So that's the kind of thing I'll do to set it up, to sort of show that I was there and looked at these sorts of things. We could edit the section, and we could make this a required field. So that'll turn it red and add it to my list of stuff to kind of check. So is that helpful, guys? I mean, that's kind of just showing, moving some things around and using that library categories. Again, how I did that was I edited the section, library categories, and then I found those 412 entries. Yeah, and we could talk about library categories real quick. If you go under the library tab in the middle of desktop and then you click on the three dots, you can show all categories. And by default, we show the categories that are attached. Looks like that went into edit category list. That's what I actually wanted to see. But now I'm going to have all of them. Hang on a sec. Let's get rid of show all categories. So now by default, I'm just going to have, if I edit my category list, I'm only going to have the categories that are associated with things that are in this template. And in general, it's gotten a little away from me a little bit, but most of my library entries start with the word narrative because that's the template that I'm in. And then I try to keep them under 500. And there's no right or wrong way to do this, but I have found that when they're under 500, Mike, to kind of get back to a little bit of your question, that doesn't really like slow down the mobile or anything. I think if you start getting like thousands of comments in one category, that might really bog things down a little bit. But most of mine, I think all of these I have under 500 in every category. And then over time, I've developed a bunch of weird things that have been added on where there's just like one entry. I don't know. Is that helpful to kind of see how I've done it? And these are really pretty neat. Like you could open up kitchen, for example. I mean, let's go to Mike's question. We could open up narrative, electrical, branch, and finish. So we're opening this, and then we could do, this is the category. So I'm going to be searching through all 400 items. We could do a search for bathroom. And that's going to winnow everything in that to just things that are related to the bathroom. So now I've got like lighting repairs, some older wiring practices, but presumably I don't have that much here. And I could go ahead and I can hit this box and that's going to highlight all of these, however many there are. But you can see this is not a lot. This is probably like 15 or 20 items or something relative to that whole big long thing. And then you could move them. Yeah, I could copy them or I could move them to a different library category. I don't know if that makes sense, but if you really felt compelled to kind of start breaking these out, you could do it and you could, copy them. And if you hit copy, it'll say, well, where do you want to move them to? You could create a new category. So we could call it bathroom electrical. And we could add that category. And then it looks like it's 19 entries. So now I'm copying those 19 entries into bathroom electrical. So now let's go back in this and we could go ahead and edit this section. We'll edit the library category. And there's the narrative, but let's go type in bathroom. And there's bathroom electrical with 19 entries. So we'll connect that one. And then we could disconnect the other one. And let's see if they're all still. Oh, I lost them. So must not have grabbed those ones.
The right idea, but just
Yeah.
missed the
I would have had to spend a little more time
finding out
figuring out
exactly where
which
they
exact
are.
yeah, exactly which comments. Because I just used the keyword search bathroom and they might have been like sinks or bathtubs or things like that that would have pulled them up. So again,
Hey, Dylan,
yeah.
when you're looking at this right here and you go back into your narratives, a feature, again, we're always looking for features, right? But it'd be great if we could identify and assort those that are already assigned to a comment versus
Yeah.
those that are not assigned. If you can basically have a selection of what you're looking for.
Yeah, so you can see that. So everything, when you're in the library, see it'll show that it's connected to two
You see
fields
it,
here.
but you can't sort to eliminate those.
You mean to only things, for example, see things that are not connected?
Correct.
Yeah, that would be helpful. I've actually found that the way that I will do that often is to just go to the bottom and then all the random stuff is at the bottom. But that does, these connected to fields help me know which comments I'm using all the time versus like the weird ones that are like stuck in my library from some, strange house I was on at one time. So that
Mike, do you have a lot of comments that are not linked that you use, or are they just like Dylan just said, are they just a bunch of comments that you used to use and now they're just push off
That's what I'm trying. I'm working slowly because I'm not
cleaning up your
concentrating on
report?
it, but I'm trying to blow away. If
Yeah.
it's items that are not tied directly to a link, why are they there?
Yeah.
Or do I need to go create the link and not have to look for the comment?
I,
Just
I thought
make,
I was I thought I was missing something there that there
yeah,
was some advantage to have unlinked comments, but okay.
just
No.
make sure captions isn't clicked because they won't be linked.
Yeah, Mike. So that would probably be the best use of that feature would be like cleaning up a library where you just want to get rid of a bunch of stuff. Mine's actually relatively clean, but if I in the days when I wanted to clean it up, I would just scroll to the bottom like I did. I might highlight a chapter. In this case, I highlighted exterior and just scroll to the bottom. The other thing you could do to make it shorter is you can show only observations up here. So Scribeware supports you can have a media captions library, which is actually super effective. I should show that. I don't know if everybody's aware of that, but that would be a cool thing for me to show here. But if we scroll all the way to the bottom here, you can see that I don't know. Sometimes you might find that's where I find a lot of my kind of junk that I don't use all that much. But it looks like I don't have too much in this chapter.
There's one.
Yeah, you guys want me to show you those photo captions library? You want to see how that works? It would be review, but would that help, or we don't have to if anybody has other questions, but if I'll show you like
Yeah, I'd
so.
like to see it, Dylan.
Okay, cool. So here's like a deck repair comment. I don't have any pictures to use right now, so we'll just grab a couple illustrations. I'll drag them in. So if I click on this picture and I notice they're in my deck section. So the photo captions auto sort by section. So if I start typing in the word bolt and I spell it correctly, then it's automatically like serving me up. The deck ledger's not been bolted to the building, right? So I could select that one. Then I can go to the next one and I could type in decay, and it's probably going to have tons of things. The base of the deck stairs are in soil contact and vulnerable to wood decay. So pretty cool. I mean, once you get these down, the deck sections where I use these the most, but they're very effective for then using the photo captions to bullets feature. So if you're new to Scribeware, I'll show you this, but I chose what I call a parent comment, deck repairs needed. Repairs are needed to the decks and porches. Maybe it was just one deck, so I could just tweak that comment using some text replacement. Examples of observations noted during inspection include, I put my cursor there, and now I can hit this little photo captions to bullets button and make a bulleted list of my photo captions. And my recommendation is to hire somebody to fix the deck. So if you are new to Scribeware and you don't use photo captions to bullets, I would encourage you to look at this. It's like my favorite thing. I use it all day long. Multiple defects with the same system. This is really powerful. It would be incredibly effective for commercial work too, where you're just always seeing like weird things, and then you just need to take a picture and caption what you see. And you can use,
Hey, Dylan,
yeah.
that list of captions, I've been doing bullets a lot, but is that a specific place you save those so they auto-populate? Because I keep
Yes. So
saying the
what you
same thing.
do
How do you
is
do that?
when you're captioning a picture,
Yep.
you just come up to the three dots right here, and in this case, it's saying update library because I used one, but let's go ahead and build a new one. So
Okay.
I'll grab a new picture and bring it in. We'll click on it to make a new caption, and then just click on the three dots here and add to
Okay.
library.
Add
Yep.
to library. Okay, so that's its own caption library, not
Cor-
in the actual observation
Correct.
library.
So now
Gotcha.
we'll go view library in the deck section. And by default, it shows all, but you can come up here and show only media captions. And now it'll sort through it. It's just going to show the media captions for my deck section.
Okay, so that's what media captions are. I thought it was only observations with like a photo in it, like a media photo in it. So it's the
Yeah,
actual bullet captions. Gotcha.
there's basically just the caption below a photo, you know.
Perfect.
Yep. Yeah, so this is pretty cool. I use decks, electrical, and roofing are the kind of three chapters where I think this is most effective. I do quite a bit of talk to text to caption my pictures, and arguably it's faster a lot of the time. But there's certain things. Let me go to my roof section, and I'll show you a good example of the kind of thing that's really nice to have in here. Is again, I'll choose a parent comment here. We'll drag in a picture, and who knows what year drip edge flashing started being required on the roof? I always forget, and I should know, right? But it,
2012 in Ohio.
yeah, that's it here. So, but look, I
2020
can
here in
start typing
Indiana.
in drip, and it says no drip edge flashings have been installed. These have been required since 2012. So I kind of built that into my photo caption, and it really is helpful on site. Like I can take that, type in the word drip, and then it reminds me like, oh, 2012. And that actually really helps me date roofs out here, you know? If there's no drip edge flashing, I assume they either did it wrong or it's older than 2012 out here.
Hey Dylan, when you do a caption in the field, does it automatically save it to the library?
No, nuh-uh. Yeah, it's a good question. So you do need to intentionally hit the save thing on the desktop to start building out your photo captions library.
It'd almost be nice, wouldn't
Well, I
it?
don't know. You'd end up with too many, I think. We
You
would
think?
really, it would be nice on mobile. We currently on mobile do not support saving to the library, which would be kind of great. I mean, presumably we'll start doing that at some point.
The new photo tags also, they are or not able to be saved on the mobile.
You can see all your photo tags on mobile. Yeah.
No, I said, can you create new ones on your mobile?
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't think you can.
I bounced back and forth trying to do it the other day and I was unsuccessful.
Yeah, I don't think you can. So you do need to create them the way you want them on desktop. I'm just looking real quick. I'm gonna make sure I'm not in somebody's
So
report.
this is where you guys are.
Who was looking for us? Hey, there's Chris.
Yeah,
How are you,
we're
man?
all in this chat room. There's about 5 or 6 guys over in the other chat room.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're all looking for you.
Oh,
I
that's
just
so
hap
funny. All
I
right.
just happened to click off on the chat room and I heard you talking. I was like, wait a minute, I'm in the
Charlie,
wrong
can you get
spot.
him over, Charlie?
How do I do that?
What have we done?
Maybe
We're in
just
Zoom. That's
maybe
awesome, Chris.
maybe
Hey,
we
Chris,
just
can you go
cancel it.
back into that other room and tell them we're here? I don't even know how to get there
Uh,
right now.
I
Oh,
don't think I can, bro. I think
okay.
one of you guys has to that initiated the meeting.
Well, I
Let's
could
see.
join it, tell them, and then
Yeah, join it and tell them, see if you can join it
you're
and get them
probably
out
gonna
of
have
there.
to let us back in, though.
All
Well,
right.
Dylan, let me ask you a quick question here. Like on your opening screen of your report you had,
Yep.
where you had the trades listed there, like plumbing and electrical,
Okay, on
and
the
it,
finished report? Yep.
yeah, yeah, and yeah. Now, is that how the templates are set up now?
Yeah, so I used these electrical or these tags to build these sort of separate summary items based uh, on the trade. Do you want me to show you how I built those?
Well, just a second, because my question is when you use these, does it automatically sort through the report and sort them out and put them in like a category by themselves?
It does. Yeah, it automatically does it once you have it set up right. Yep.
Okay. Could you show me real quick how to set that
Yeah.
up?
Yep. Charlie, were you able to rescue those guys?
Yeah, there's 4 of them in there.
Okay. Chris, thanks for letting us know, man. Charlie and I somewhat reluctantly were like experimented with the breakout room before. I find breakout rooms more confusing than not, so I need to be careful with these.
We were definitely broken out, that's for sure.
Sorry, Chris. I apologize, man.
Oh,
Uh,
looks like I'm late to the party too.
All right. Hey, welcome. Sorry if you guys got stuck in the breakout room. I don't know how that
Yeah.
happened, but
That's some good conversation anyways.
Oh, good. All right. Nice. All right. Did we get everybody? Is everybody back in?
I've only let one in. I don't know.
Um, looks like there was a guy named Joe that's not in yet, and
'Cause we had 20
all I did
before.
was all I did was click leave break room, and then it automatically brought me in here.
Okay.
They may have already been on the list, Dylan.
Okay. Cool. All right, let's go into this tag thing, and I'll show you guys how I built this. It is kind of there's Joe. Like he's coming in now. So it's a multi-step process. If you go under settings, you can, and tags, this is where you actually create the tags. So this is worth playing around with. And I have a couple videos on this, so you can go to our YouTube channel and just, put the word tags in. You can even, I've actually been finding our Scribeware videos just by going to Google and putting in like Scribeware tags, and like it seems to pull that stuff out of YouTube. So that can be a way to do it. So if I scroll all the way to the bottom, here's my electrical tag and here's my plumbing tag. So I'll show you how I set them up. I gave it a group name, electrical items. I wanted to create its own summary page, so I toggled this radio button on. So I'm making a summary page, and I wanted to be able to save this little yellow thing with my library entry so that I don't have to tag every single one. I want to auto-generate this page. You guys with me so far?
Yeah.
Cool. Then I didn't want my client to have to look at the yellow electrical items and the blue plumbing. I could, doesn't really matter that much, but I just figured I'd make it inspector only. So that's what I've done. I can't even remember I think this is for like prefixes for locations, so let's ignore that for now. And then I hit add tag, and I chose yellow, and I wrote electrical items. So that was kind of how I built it. So that's sort of on the tags under settings and tags. That's how I built it. And you can see I did the same thing for plumbing here. So then the next step, once you've created a tag, is going into, for example, let's choose electrical because electrical was a lot easier. Pretty much all of my electrical was in two chapters. I have electrical service and electric distribution. So I could go under my library, and I could, let's get out of this. What I want is electrical. Let's get out of that. We'll go under electrical. I don't know why it keeps putting that in there, but all right, here's all my stuff. So if we go to electric service, that's going to show every single comment that's in my electrical service library. So then I could hit this box and highlight it. That's going to highlight all of the things in electrical service. And then I could hit this tag, and I went ahead and chose my electrical ones to tag it. That makes sense. So that was how I got all these. So that went through and tagged every single electrical comment I have with this little, what is a hidden electrical icon. So now every time I publish a report, it's auto-generating that electrical summary page.
Is it one item specific, or
Okay.
can you have them multiple tagged for some reason?
One item in particular has multiple tags, Mike?
Yeah, sometimes.
That's the question as far as, let's say that I can't even come up with an example at the moment, but it's a safety item as well as it's on a deck. So you've got a
Yeah.
safety tag, but at the same time you're calling it out as a
Yeah,
deck
so
for repair.
let's show I'll show you that. So I'm going to do several small repairs. So this is tagged with my electrical, but I could still go in and let's say let's do a location tag now. So maybe I found this issue in the hall bathroom, right? And so now I've added a location tag on top of a comment that was already tagged as an electrical item. That makes sense. Yep. So you can add as many tags as you want. I mean, I could go click on it again, and maybe I found something in the guest house, and so we've got another location tag.
Can you do a print preview on that and let's see what this looks like?
Yeah, so we'll preview and we will go to, I think we're in electrical service. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's go to electrical. We'll go under repairs. So here's kind of Hall Bath Guest House for locations noted. And then here's the electrical items summary page.
Hey, Dylan, how did
Yep.
you get the tags with the locations noted and that whole separate? How did you do
Yeah,
those
I'll show you that.
separate from
That's a
the?
good question. So we go under the settings. Let's delete this.
If you
We'll
don't
go,
like the buttons, you can do it just with no buttons and just text as well.
yeah, so if you go under tags, I've created a bunch of different ones. So this, is appliance locations. And you see, I think down here I could do bathroom locations. And this is what shows up ahead of things. Um, This one's just locations noted. So anyway, to set these ones up, I'm not creating a summary page for locations. You could, I mean, in theory, you could auto-generate a list of like by north, south, east, and west, or like main floor and second floor, which actually could be sort of cool for like commercial buildings or something conceivably. But in any event, I'm not doing a summary page and I'm not saving this with the library entry. I'm just tagging a particular thing of where I'm finding it. I'm using these chips, but I think if you use the list, they'll just be more, or you can do a bulleted list, or you can do the chips. So there's different ways to show them. Does that make sense, Jason? Does that?
Yes, now I get it. I see where you were your tag group name,
Yep.
bathroom location. So then that'll print ahead of the electrical or plumbing or HVAC tag, correct?
Yeah, and they're kind
Okay,
of different. Like these electrical and plumbing ones are really designed to create a summary page,
correct.
whereas these other ones I'm using to just show where I found stuff, you know.
Perfect.
And I'm kind of liking all of these. I don't use these a ton, but I would say most jobs I find it convenient to like, I love this one. When the burners don't work right now, I can just use a burner doesn't work and I can click on back left or middle or front right for appliance locations. I with the bathroom ones, I personally have different chapters for different bathrooms, so I don't necessarily need these location tags. But sometimes I find, let's say, for example, I find a slow drain in the sink drain in three different bathrooms. Rather than having that comment show up three times, I can just go to that comment and just be like, oh, well, here, I'll show you. We'll go to a bathroom section real quick. So I could be in the powder bath. I found a slow drain, and then I can just come up here. And let's say I found it in, the hall bathroom, the primary bath, and the guest bath. So boom, now they're all, and then in the summary page, now the summary page is less repetitive because now I don't have three different comments. I always hate it when the comment looks exactly the same and says the same thing and it repeats over and over. So this is a great way for me to eliminate that on my summary page now, you know.
That works nice for, smoke detectors where you found two bedrooms that are missing, and then all of a sudden you go in the primary or the master and there is one.
That's
And you
right.
made a comment about bedrooms missing smoke detectors. Well, technically only two were missing.
That's
So
a
that'd be nice
really
to tag those locations where the bedrooms were missing smokes.
that's a really good example. How do you guys describe bedrooms is one problem though, because like they're always like it's not, I don't know. I mean, south, north, east, west, like it's so hard to like tag a bedroom, I find.
Yeah, I
What
have that problem. Yeah.
What I've been doing, I take photos of each bedroom and I call it bedroom one, bedroom two, bedroom three,
Oh, there you go.
primary bedroom. And then
Yeah,
if there's a problem in that bedroom, I just call it the bedroom and I figure they'll look at the photo. They can tell what bedroom it is and I've given it a name.
that's a
Because
great
yeah,
idea. Yeah.
I don't like saying left front, right rear. And half the time I don't know my direction. I get turned around in the damn house. I don't know which way is north, south, east. I'm not going to pull my compass out and, you know.
Yeah, I like
So,
being a Boy Scout, and I light a little fire in front and
right,
break out my
exactly.
compass.
Fire service used to do side 1, 2, 3, 4, and then do it that way. But
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's a good idea, Jason. I like that. I mean, and you're right. Like that's a great use of this is just being able to tag which bedrooms you don't see the smoke alarms, and then you can have one comment: smoke alarms were missing in bedrooms, and then you just click,
Exactly.
click, click, and just tag them.
can you create these tags on your, like, I did a duplex this morning. I'd be able to, instead of having, like, I have dirty air conditioner unit 2322, unit 2320, have those tags create, I can create them when I get to it when I've got the addresses.
Yeah, yeah, so I mean the tags are not per job. They live in your template. So, but that's a
Right.
really good idea, Jim, is you could create tags for um, HVAC units, and you could have unit number one, unit number two, something like that. I've done that when on the photo tags to tag my
Right.
pictures on the photos, but um it would be really cool to do with these tags. That would be particularly effective if, like, let's say unit number one wasn't level and there was missing insulation, right? And you could tag that one as, and then you could have another comment that's like, unit number two doesn't even fire and is all rusted and probably needs to be replaced. And so then you could keep a single HVAC section or heat pump and air cooling section, but like tag them that way. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah.
Because right now I do I duplicate the section for the cooling,
Hmm.
but then on my summary I've got, you know, unit needs cleaning because they both,
That's right.
you know,
Yeah, and so you end up with a summary that looks really repetitive. So this would be a way
right.
to try to avoid that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. No,
So
that
those
Okay.
tags show up in the summary page as well, Dylan?
they would show up in the comment unless you make them inspector only.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yep.
I think that's my big confusion is the inspector only part of the software is when you have that on, it doesn't show like the comment, like the what's the word I'm looking for? Um,
Well,
the
there's a couple different inspector
descriptions.
only things. I'll
Okay.
dive into this because I think I know what you're talking about. This is just for these tags. But
Oh,
the
right.
other inspector only thing you can see at work in this comment. So I didn't want the checkbox slow drains to print in the report. So I set this sequence of things
Got
to
you.
be inspector
I
only.
got it.
But
Yeah, I
they
got it.
do give me my narrative. The narrative prints in the
Right.
comment. Now, what you can do to be fully inspector only, and let's move to a different section where I know I have some of these, is like if I go to my water heaters, for example, at the bottom I have inspector only notes. So this is an inspector only checkbox, but I also created a modifier that is inspector only. And see, it says not included in report. So
Yeah.
this is really cool, but it lets you build notes to yourself of like, I don't know. I just could never remember the sequence that an electric water heater elements fire on. And so I
Right,
like
right.
built this little note for myself with an illustration and I like explained to myself how it does it. And now I can remember because I built it and I looked at it 20 times. But
Yeah. Hey, in this meeting, are you just doing stuff about tags, Dylan?
no, we can do whatever.
Well, because like Chris Long there, he's in New York. He's new to Scribeware, along with a couple other guys, and I think they probably have some. When we got stuck in the other room, we were talking about some things, and I think they may have some questions
Yeah,
for
Chris,
you.
why don't you fire some questions at me, man?
I've been doing okay, Dylan, believe it or not. I've been I've been playing with it a lot. I've probably done 13 inspections so far with it. And
Nice.
I actually had more of an issue getting used to Keystone because the home gauge dashboard was just so freaking easy. And using that for 20 years, it's like it was a no-brainer.
Yeah, yeah.
So I had to
Interesting.
relearn, everything on the Keystone side. As far as the Scribeware goes, I'm doing okay. I'm getting it. Gunny sacks. Tell me about these gunny sacks.
Yeah, yeah. I love that. Let's go over some. So I'll show you several different ways of using gunny sacks. to me, like
Decks.
the really,
Decks.
I mean, to some degree, gunny sacks are really just text replacement. This would be an extreme example, but this is a deck gunny sack that I have that if I were to print this right now, all that would print is deck repairs needed, examples of specific observations noted during inspection include. Nothing else would print. And so if I double click up here, I can choose, well, there's tune-up repairs needed, extensive repairs needed, or the deck's in such poor condition that rebuilding is needed, right? So I can just click that. And then I broke down, I mean, in this comment, I have something like 500 deck defects all built into a single comment. None of this will print until I choose something, but let's go start choosing. So ledger board, we'll double click on it. It's not been bolted correctly. It's installed over the siding. The hangers are corroded and they didn't use the correct fasteners and it's missing lateral load ties. So boom, boom, boom. I just chose 4 defects there. How about the guardrails? I could click on them.
Wow.
Large guardrails. There's wood decay in the guardrail. This was large openings. Guardrails loose, right? And they notched the posts. So boom, boom, boom. I just did 4 more defects. Guard walls, floor structure, wood destroying organisms, posts. Let's click on posts. Post to soil contact and mild corrosion on brackets. So pretty amazing. I mean, part of my original idea of this session today was we could go over tools for training your inspectors. But how cool is this gunny sack? I mean, you have a single
That
comment
is,
of like,
yeah.
all right, if you want to figure out what you should be looking for in a deck, you can open up this comment and there's like whole lists of like everything you should be looking for. So that's, is that helpful, Chris? I mean, that's like
Yeah.
one gunny
Now,
sack problem.
how do you build that though?
Yeah, so let's build that. So I've already built it and let's add on to it. So there is one trick. This is a pretty sophisticated one because it's got all these headings with stuff underneath. So if you want to create a list of headings, well, I'll start with a blank one. So I'll just because test, 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 right? So that
It is a good lesson how to move from one heading to another, though.
yeah, that's what I'll show you. So let's see, bolts, right? And then below could be rim joist. So then you can click on these and you use our text replacement button. And we want to allow multiple selections and bullets. So this is kind of a key to a gunny sack. And then up here, we could do bolts and we can do bolts missing, bolts black, washers, right? So there's 2 of them. We can hit save. So now we've got this one, and then we could do another one right below it. So we could go to rim joist and allow multiple and bullets. And I'm going to come up here. Rim joist, rotted, rim joist, twisting. So we got those 2 and we'll hit save. So we've started to kind of build these. You can double click on them and uncheck them, right? And then they're kind of now they're just showing a bit like that comment up here, right? Looks like I spelled something wrong. Now here's the one trick of this. If you want to add another layer, you need to hit the shift key and then return, and that puts you at the bottom. And now I could go ahead and use text replacement and multiple selection bullets. Guardrail, loose, rotted, everyone will die, right? So we can hit save. And so cool, now we've got another one. So now we can click on bolts, they're missing. We could click on rim joist and it's rotted and twisted. Click on guardrail and it's loose, rotted, and everyone will die.
Hey, Dylan, do you create with those gunny sack bullets? Do you put those in your captions so that when you're taking photos, you know how normally you do bullets or captions to bullets, but in this
Mhm.
case, you've already done that. would you take a picture and then note that so they know what they're looking at in
Yeah,
the
that's
photo?
probably good practice. Like if I were
Sure.
using this comment, I would probably have captioned my pictures. It's just instead of using the photo captions, the bullets feature, I would just use the gunny sack and just sort of pre-tag everything, you know.
And you just
Is,
add the
is
Another,
there
photos to that section
pardon?
where it says where all your bullets are. You just drag the pictures into that
No,
area.
the picture will not insert like right under like
Right. It would
correct
just be under the
bolting.
whole gunny sack section, right?
Yeah, they'll so
Yeah.
if you drag pictures in,
'Cause
they'll
that's
just be
usually
at the
what I do. Yeah, that's
yeah.
usually what I do right there.
Yeah, it would be really cool if you could make them like go into in between up here, you know, but
Yeah.
that gets pretty freaking complicated, I think.
Oh yeah.
Dylan, would you just copy those gunny sack then and then just paste them in there as a caption? Would that be your best way to make sure that you're not saying one thing in a caption and it's not quite the exact same thing you're saying in the
Um,
bullets?
I you know,
How do you do that?
I don't that's a good question. You know where I use this technique the most is like crawl spaces because
Sure.
they're a lot less technical. Right? I
Right.
mean, a crawl space, it's like there's dead rodents. We can have a
Right.
picture of that. Like everybody, I don't need to caption that picture. There's
No.
insulations pulled down. The
Hmm.
brackets are missing. Like, so I don't know. To me, the one drawback, I don't use this technique in the deck very much, partly for kind of what you're alluding to. The things can get kind of more technical with decks, and so I tend to just be more specific and use the photo captions to bullets feature more. But this technique is another place that I do use this is Windows. You know, I should show you guys my Windows gunny is it's funny, I no longer do lots of old houses, but like in Seattle, if you go to a 1920s house, yeah, I could fill this stuff out before I even show up. So here's my old Windows gunny sack. So this basically says a bunch of window repairs are needed, and the windows here are generally in poor condition. I can kind of give them a grade, so fairly typical condition, and then I can click on this list, and some of the windows in the home are not operating and may be painted shut. Some of the windows are single pane glass. Some of the windows are installed in locations that would require safety glass today. There's guillotine windows that slam shut. There's windows showing signs of leakage and moisture control problems. There's loose window. There's missing hardware. There's cracked panes of glass. There's gaps between the windows. There's storm windows with condensation, and there's mold. So, I mean, boy, what an amazing list that I built just
Yeah.
clicking on some things. And I think a lot of those are pretty self-evident. Like what I might tag on the photos then is just a location with voice to text, primary bedroom, hallway by the stairs, or, that
Of course, you
kind of
can
thing.
you can edit and add to any of them.
Yeah, that's right. Is that helpful, guys? I mean, it's worth thinking
Definitely.
about. I think if I ran a multi-inspection firm, I would be a lot more inclined to be using gunny sacks where all the language is pre-made, because I'm a sort of solo guy and I know what I want to say, I just find voice to text faster and easier because I can just
Yeah.
sort of speak exactly what I want. But that's a harder thing to just turn guys loose on. This manages everything better. So, and I say that there's no right or wrong way. I just use that as an example of like, I think it's cool that we have both ways of doing things. And I use both, like, and I think if I ran a multi-inspection firm company, I'd be leaning heavier towards the gunny sacks and less towards the parent comments.
I'll tell
I'm
you
really
something else.
glad
That's a
Chris
really good
asked.
observation, Dylan. It also shortens the report. You've heard me talk about this. I get crazy when I see 100 and some odd page inspection reports. This is able to bring a lot of defects into one comment that is
Yes,
concise.
it's so
Yeah.
much more concise. And some of those reports that you're talking about, Jamie, are painful to read because they lose all of the emphasis of like I don't even understand what's going on. I see that you checked some box that there's lost seals, but the exact same comment is in 10 places, and I don't understand, like, is that a big deal or not? Like you
Aggravation.
lose all the context. So I appreciate you saying that. I think it really drives me nuts about a lot of other reports that I read. And I feel like in Scribeware, if you leverage these tools, you can be a better communicator. You can be like, look, you've like 30 lost seals here. That's a major concern. Boom, here they all are. And, it's one comment. Mike,
Well,
you're,
what it drives you to do, and roof or a deck, either one. If you go out there and you see the very first defect and you put a picture in and you put your defect in, a single line entry. Now you
mhm.
walk 5 feet and you see three more. So you're going to do a single line entry on three more. Now I'm stacking all these comments and pictures where if you go in and you say roof issues, just leave it alone like that. Start snapping your pictures. You got 15 pictures of defect. You can gunny sack. Well, you can do what you just did here and bulletize, or you can talk to each defect and then do the bullet on it. And you've wrote 15 comments. Yeah, a darn roofer needs to be out here, or a deck special or deck framer needs to be out here.
Yep,
Where you're talking about going through the house and you got 10 different locations of windows. If you don't condense that and combine that into one comment, you lose your audience.
yep,
And you will find out that they missed three of those comments and they want to know why you didn't call them out. And then you say, well, I did. Well, why didn't you group them together? Because we missed three windows. $1,500 later.
yep. Yeah, no, that's right. I mean, it's with some of those things like the locations of lost seals. I think it's incredibly important to have the art of being vague and specific at the same time, you know.
Yeah.
And this lets you do that. I mean, locations noted during the inspection, hire somebody to further evaluate glass and replace, update all insulated glass units with lost seals. So I'm kind of being like, here's some examples of where I noted them, but I'm not saying that that's all there is.
Right, right.
And to me, the photo captions to bullets or gunny sacking lets you, I think it's great report writing is both vague and specific at the same time. I think that's important. Yeah.
One question for you. Is there a way to drive, it's a single picture, it's an observation with just a single picture. Is there a way to drive the comments to the left side, photograph to the right, instead of photograph always beneath of the comment? I've never looked for that, but is there a way?
Yes. So I think, and let me just repeat the question. If you only have one picture in the comment, you want the current default is the photo aligns right and you want it lined right underneath. Is that correct?
Well, I'm saying just the opposite. My defect is you have all your text body, then the photograph drops below it all. My question is there a way to have the text wrap on the left side and only the one photograph on the right?
Oh,
It's nothing critical.
yeah.
It's one of
No,
those things
so
that
the text would be like shorter on the left and then the photo would be like, yeah, that's actually a cool idea.
because then it
There
just
is not a
changes
way
up.
to do that. Yeah,
Okay,
it would consolidate things more.
correct.
You
I
can
think
do with CSS, but
yeah, you probably could do that with CSS. That would be a neat challenge. And you would really only need it when there is one picture, I think, right? I mean, because when
Yeah,
there's more than one picture, it doesn't matter so much.
thank
Yeah,
you.
so good stuff. It's interesting. I mean, I remember years ago I met with somebody that was using my template, and they're like, "Where's your plumbing flashing comment on the roof?" And I was like, I don't think of roof comments as a sequence of like 10 different repair items. To me, it's all one thing. It's like I kind of give the roof a grade. It's either like brand new and looks good, it's brand new and needs repairs, it's somewhere in the middle of its life, it's like old and either repair or replace it, or it's shot. And then that way, like when you start thinking of roofs and siding and decks like that, you really don't need all those individual comments. The individual comments become, photo captions, really, or bullet points in a gunny sack. That's how I think of it anyway. Chris, we kind of got super distracted. Was that helpful on gunnies, man? Was that
Yeah, yeah,
can
definitely
I show
was.
you my favorite way of using gunny sacks?
Yeah.
So let's go to the bathroom. So like I pretty much now can just use, and I saw Scott ask something that I want to go look at, but uh, let me just finish with this, Scott. Most of my sync comments I can now do with these four comments. So almost everything I find wrong with a sink. So slow drain, sink repairs, stopper repairs, or water stains below the sink, dry. So then all you see how these have these little yellow bits. I can click on it was a slow drain. Well, um, gurgling was noted when the sink was draining. This can indicate poor or inadequate venting. or I could double click on it again. This often involves just cleaning out the trap, or these countertop model sinks frequently drain slowly. This is really cool. To me, this really digs into what Charlie Buell has a whole class on, anticipatory report writing. But if I just say the sink drain is slow, fix it, what I think could happen to me is a plumber shows up and says, well, this is one of these countertop model sinks. They never drain right. Right? And I don't want to have them then the client looks at me and is like, "Ah, your home inspector's an idiot. He doesn't know that these always drain slow," right? I don't want that to happen to me. So I build this little nuance onto the back end of my comment. And it kind of handles that. In this case, the flow to the sink seems to be much faster than the drain. You ever do one of those sinks where it's like the flow is just so strong that like even though the sink's draining fine, it just can't keep up. So I don't know if this helps, but like what's cool then is that if I want to, I can have none of these checked, and it's just I have my basic slow drain repair as needed. But I can click on these and massage the comment for all the little weird things that might come up. You see what I'm after there? You know?
Is that set up like if I got on a report right now and tried to double click these, that stuff would pop up, or is that something you built?
I built all this. This is in the narrative template that we ship with, but I'll show you how you could build one. So let's do the sink drain is slow, fix it, right? And so then we could go below it here, and we're going to use the text replacement, and we're going to allow multiple selections and bullets. And up here, I'm just going to use the Windows period key to get my emojis, and I'll use a little pen. And then I can make a whole list. The sync is slow because there is a dead rat. The drain is slow and disconnected, whatever, right? This is all just silly stuff, but and I can hit save. And that's how I built this is I
You
use
have to
this little,
save that to your library.
yeah, then you can come up here and hit add to library. And now I've got sync drain is slow, fix it. And you can double click on these and start kind of massaging the comments as needed. But I
Gotcha.
use these all over. So if you were using the narrative template or you wanted to poach comments from the narrative template, you'll see a lot of them that have this little pen emoji. And that's kind of the idea behind those.
How do you do
Okay.
that though? How do you
I
merge
never even knew
templates?
about this.
How do
Go
you
ahead.
how do you and
Merge libraries.
you know you sucked my template in from HomeGauge, so I've got my HomeGauge comments as I work through Scribeware. I've got HomeGauge running at the same time. I'm taking the stuff that didn't come over and building my library in Scribeware. But
Okay.
there's some of your comments in your narrative comment in your narrative template that I want to pull into my template.
hmm
How do you do that?
Yeah, let me show you. So, I mean, if you want me to log into your account and do it like live?
Yeah,
What's your email? Do you mind? If
Chris at longsgcs.net.
guys into this? This is all good stuff to know, right? How to
Yeah, this is
move
awesome.
libraries.
Man, I'm glad this is
This
the
is
first time I've
great.
been able to join one, so this is really
I'm
cool.
like you, Chris. I'm still learning too. So this is a great Scriber meetup.
These are always fun, I
Me,
think.
me and Dylan too.
Yeah, right?
I always learn stuff on these too. I mean, this is kind of when I get to play with a lot of things
Hey,
that
Dylan, I got to drive to North Carolina tomorrow with a bunch of grandkids. Can you impersonate me doing that too?
yeah, yeah. All
Hey,
right.
Chris
So let's
Long, I just
I'm
put
gonna
a
s- I'm
phone.
gonna we're gonna set up this. I like how you have Long's master template. So I'm gonna open one of these. And this is a trick that Charlie came up with, but I like to kind of set a job out in the future that's going to be my template. And this will make your life, I think, easier. Once you get your head around it, MP
Hey,
template.
Chris, real quick, like I just threw a phone number out there that is mine. If you want to give me a yell, I can help you between the home gauge mentality and where we got to go with this. I was on HG for 20 plus years, so
Oh, that's nice of you, Mike. That's awesome, man.
I
That's
appreciate that
great,
because
Mike.
I'm a 20-year myself.
So,
Same
Chris,
here. I'm leaving HomeGauge. Oh.
Who's
So,
that?
well, welcome guys. We love it. And then,
Yeah.
so what I did up here is I put this out in 2035 up in this date. The reason that matters is as you keep working, Chris, all your jobs will populate down here, but this one will always sit at the top because it's way out in the future.
Right.
So the library of comments is very fluid. You can constantly update it with every job. The template, like the structure, is actually risky to update with each job because just to give you an example, like let's say I did a job the other day that had 6 subpanels. Well, if I hit save template, it's a global save to that job. And so now my default template has 6 subpanels in it, which I don't want. So I don't like messing with my template, the sort of structure of my report. So this gives you one that you can kind of fiddle with, and then you hit save template, and you're basically building a copy of this structure. So let's go to where do you have decks? Would they be under exterior?
Exterior, yeah.
Cool. So now here's decks and balconies. So we could edit the section, edit the library category. Boom, HG decks. You got your stuff. Now you don't see any of my stuff because my stuff all says narratives. So what you need to do is hit show all categories here. And now it's going to get a little unruly, but I'm going to type in deck. And it might take a minute to think about it all. Yeah, so now it's got all kinds of stuff showing up. And what we want is the narrative deck. Here it is, 351 entries. So we will update that. So now, if you, let's go here and we'll do gunning. So here's that big deck gunny that we were playing around with. Now that's in your template. You see what I'm?
Leave it there. Leave it there. Don't take it away. Leave it there.
I'm going to sneak mine in there.
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of
Oh,
stuff in
Lord
there.
help us, Charles.
Yeah, there's some
Back
really
the
cool.
truck up and be ready for it to squat on the ground.
So if for some reason this bums you out, like here, watch what you can do. Let's do gunny, and we're going to grab that, and then you can actually edit in library. That's going to edit this one comment, and right now it's in the library category narrative template. But if you wanted to, you could search for HG and see if it'll come up with it. The system's doing some serious thinking here. Yeah, might need to think too hard about all that. Oh, I was starting to do it. There you go. So here's your HG. Like we could maybe type in deck. There it is, HG decks, right? So now I'm moving this comment from my narrative library category, and if I add as a new library entry, it'll be in both places. So now it's in both your HG library and it's in that narrative one. What's cool about that is now that I did that, if you wanted to, you could go ahead and edit the library category. We could disconnect narrative, right? We'll update. And now we will add observation and type in gunny, and there it is, because now it's in your HG library.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's how you kind of can blend library stuff around. It's not for the faint of heart. The easiest is to just, it's really not that hard to just, let's go under Windows, and I could find you that Windows gunny, right? So if we view library in Windows, and Chris's, we just have this HG Windows, so I actually meant to do edit section, edit library category, and HG Windows, 16 entries. So we could show all categories. We can type in window and all kinds of crap. Actually, for me, it's probably interior. So let's do narrative interior.
Dylan, will you show how to merge some of these libraries?
Well,
Charles
that's
kind of
sort
did
of
a.
what we're doing, right? So
You're
here's
right. You're
narrative
right.
interior, 400 entries. So we check that, update library category. So now under Windows, let's type in gunny and see what we get. Oh, I might not have called it Oldwood Windows. Old wood windows. This is definitely one of my comments. And you can see it's got that little gunny at the bottom, you know. So that's how you merge them, right? I mean, you edit the section, edit the library category, and then you need to hit show all categories, and that's going to have everything. But it's helpful, like what you might like, you know, that if you're trying to use stuff out of the narrative template, you just need to know that every one will start with narrative. So I could type in narrative electric, right? And it's going to go search for, you know, electrical stuff that's in my narrative. That,
Gotcha.
that
So I've been doing the wrong thing for the last couple of weeks and hitting save template every time I bring a comment in from home gauge.
You do not,
Oh,
cool, yeah. So I'm glad we caught you on that. You do not need to do that. So let's say you bring in a comment. What you do, new comment, if you want to add it, you come to these three dots and add it to the library. So now we've got this new comment in your Windows section. If you hit Save Template, that's saving the names and sequence of all the chapters and sections, and it's saving any data fields that you may have. So like if you were to make edits to this kind of stuff, that would be part of the template save. If you made a link, so if you linked, like, let's go to electrical, and let's go to panel manufacturer. You must have Zinsco on here, right? No? You guys don't have the Zinsco. You have FPE. So let's try this real quick. FPE, federal. You might not be in here though. Yeah. So this is one quirk if you came over from HG, is that if we edit this section, there's not much in here, but we could go to electrical.
So you picked up his styles and materials only.
Exactly. Mike knows exactly what I'm talking about.
but that's where you could actually merge all those libraries.
Yeah, 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
You could, yeah. Do you have like do you have like an FPE comment, Chris, somewhere?
Yeah, I do. I do. I mean,
Would it be in one of these categories, or is it someplace
it's probably under
connected
systems.
devices and fixtures? It doesn't seem
You're
right.
you're missing one of your libraries.
Yeah, I think so too. Here it is, HG service panels. I bet it's there. Let's see,
Can I
federal.
say one thing to you, Chris? When
Here it
you're
Yeah.
doing
is.
your template work, if you actually have a report open and you're trying to see how it functions and you're playing with it, have a second computer open making your template changes, but yet you can make your comments from either one of those devices. In other words, if you had a live report up, you can be saving comments at that time and it doesn't impact the template.
Gotcha.
But the
So
second computer is mandatory.
So Chris, we tracked down your FPE comment here, right? And I
Yeah.
see the issue. This is a drawback of how HG set things up, in my opinion, is how I want to connect my FPE repair comment with this Federal Pacific description here. So we could call this a major. I guess you might want to. That's what I would do it. And then I want to connect it. So what I'm going to do is update library, and then I'm going to connect fields. And it's going to say, boy, do you want to connect to FPE? And I'm going to say, hell yeah, I do. And now we'll delete it, and we'll delete that. And now this is orange, and it just auto populates for you.
Wow.
And can you show him, or
Wow.
maybe I'm stepping on your toes, Chris? Are you familiar with the way that he's going over it with the cursor right now and everything showing up as opposed to a checkbox? Are
Yeah.
you familiar with the two?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't, anyway, I mean that's like what you can, if what I would do is take your styles and materials and not even use them for only styles and materials. I would turn those into like where everything is. And it's, to me, Scribeware is so much better laid out because you can have your repairs right with the styles and materials and then report everything. Now this is really cool. This is a big template decision you can make, but if I wanted to, and I wouldn't do this yet, Chris, until you spend more time on your template, but at some point, we can go under settings and observation modifiers, and I can go under major concerns and I can show next to connected field value. I'm going to save that. But when we do that, now see how it went from being all the way down here, if
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
to like being connected up here. But
Yeah.
if you take that mentality, you can take all your HG styles and materials kind of stuff and essentially turn each one of these into its own little section. And then like you see how long all this is? This would
Yeah.
drive me insane having this much stuff. And on mobile, this will be take you forever to scroll through. Whereas you would find that in Scriber, you can kind of like start consolidating this stuff so that on mobile, it's just a lot faster, you know? You see what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
You know, so like this, where you have service entrance conductors, you already have that up here, right? And so you can describe them, and then whatever comments you have, we could view what's up here. So electric service too close to the ground, right? So you could come up here.
Does anybody use short strings of checkboxes rather than having to click on the blank space to see what's under it?
That's what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, Charles, you and I talked about this. I was hoping that those hidden strings would transfer, or the hidden lines would transfer to the app so that they were all hidden and condensed,
Well,
but it doesn't do that.
there are always there are already checkboxes in the app.
Right.
See, so I've got this check, Chris. You still with
Yeah.
me, Chris?
Yeah.
Yep. Too close to ground, too close to ground. So now I can connect fields and boom. So now when we delete this and delete this, you know, you can just start. So like all of this stuff, I would be really tempted to build it into like one or two sections ultimately and consolidate everything. And I think you'll have a way more mobile friendly report. And I think it'll be easier for people to read, you know?
So Dylan, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you, Tim.
Okay, perfect. A couple of suggestions there as well on how I converted my home gauge one over is I kind of did the opposite. I just deleted the styles and materials sections and I pulled all of those fields because those are kind of your descriptions. I pulled those descriptions into the individual chapters and then added an inspector only note field for all the comments.
That's a really cool idea.
So like take your service entry chapter, pull any style and material item that relates to that into your service entry chapter instead, and then put another field in there that says service entry comments, and then link all of those there.
So watch what we could
And
do
have that
there,
one not
Chris.
show
Like
up.
I think what he's saying is you edit this, and you could click on this and move it. Why don't I go ahead and copy it? And that way it won't mess too much up for you. But we could move that down to electrical service entrance conductors, right? And so boom, now you got it down there. So now you've got your style and material right in this little section. I don't know if you like that,
Gotcha.
Chris, but I hope you're okay with this. We're kind of like, I don't mean to be like exploding your template, but hopefully it's giving you some ideas of things you can do.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
and one other thing, somebody just mentioned not having checkboxes on the mobile version. I don't know who said that, but there is a way
That
to
was me,
have
Tim.
it.
Jason.
What's that? Okay.
That was me, Tim. Jason.
Perfect. Okay, there's a way to have certain fields start collapsed. So if you click on the name of the field on mobile, the very top part of it, it'll collapse that field. So like, once I've filled out a style and material on mobile, I click the top and it shrinks it down, so I don't have to look at it anymore. Um, and if you collapse stuff and then you go into the desktop on that same report and save your template, it'll save those as starting as collapsed.
Oh, I love it.
And then that way you can take all the ones that you would rather have, where you have to click on it to see all the options. You can take all those and hide them, save it that way, and then you have to expand it on mobile, but you don't have to scroll by it every time.
Go buy it. Sure. That's perfect. Thanks, Tim.
Yep.
You may have to
Hey,
give me a
Dylan,
lesson
I
on
have
that again, Tim.
I have a question for you, Dylan.
Yeah.
It's yeah, the on your report, when you publish your report, you know how on the summary page it lists all your observation modifiers and then it also lists the descriptions. Can you hide the descriptions from the summary page as well?
Hide
Because
the
like on some of my reports, and I haven't had any complaints about it, but in the summary page, after you get down below the observation modifiers, and it's all descriptions. You know, like when you put in uh, like a something that you found during the inspection, it gives a description of
like this
underneath.
here where I put in 1966 and it auto populates this whole thing.
It's all descriptions. It's every description that pops up in your report. It shows up in the summary as well.
Hmm.
Um,
Maybe what you could do is just go under observation modifiers and just go to the descriptions and make sure that they're not going to the summary.
right. Okay.
I
That's
would
cool.
check that because
That's
you
probably
should
what I
be,
need to
that might
check.
be
Is
why it's doing that. Yeah.
okay,
Because I
I'm
don't
gonna
have
check
my
that right now.
descriptions set. And that's important with your modifiers. You can choose which ones go in the summary and which ones are in the report. But
Yeah.
to me, that's really important that I don't want to get my summary all tangled up with all the kind of background
Yeah,
information and stuff.
that's my problem. The descriptions are showing up in my reports under the summary page. Um,
Well, thank you, Dylan. I gotta head out.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, Chris, just
I'll
to
keep playing
finish,
and keep pummeling you with questions,
yeah,
but
to finish
overall,
one
I
thought,
mean,
man.
I'm
If
really
you
pleased with what's going on. You know what it's like when you work with something for 20 years. Now I got
it's
to
brutal,
learn
man.
everything. It's
I know.
like,
Well, keep hitting us up, man. I want to get you. I want this thing smoking for you. But so you don't. I didn't hit save template. So at the moment, if you start a new one, it's going to be what you're used to.
okay,
But if you fiddle with this one up here, if you don't hit save template, you can keep fiddling with this one until you get it the way you want, and then hit
okay,
save template. You can
okay,
also, if you hit save template, you could rename it. So you could call it Long's Master Template 2.0. And then you
gotcha.
can keep using the basic one until you're ready to implement 2.0, if you see what I'm
Okay,
getting at, you know.
all
So,
right,
but I haven't saved it yet. So, but
all right.
I'm glad you could make it. And hey, Scott, I see what you're asking about, and I'm not. If there's any way, I think you might have given us submit feedback. Scott was saying the observation tags are not in the same order in the finished report as when they as when you edit them.
Yeah, they end up in the order you pick them.
Oh, is that
So
right? Okay. Yeah. If you don't mind, Scott, just keep hammering us with feedback on the submit feedback with that. And the observation tags are a pretty darn new feature, so it would not be shocking that like we come up with little tweaks that we want to do to it. So that's good feedback, Scott.
Dylan, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I keep on my template, I've got so I in the kitchen sink, I have, top mounted or under mounted, your little comment about under mounted. We talked about that, how
Yep.
sometimes they'll fall off. Well, on my top mounted, I have a checkbox where I can check that. At some point, I had manually typed in top mounted, in a little space.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, even though I've deleted that, unchecked top mounted, save template, every time I go in and do a report, the typed out word top mounted is still showing up underneath in the observation. I don't understand why.
Interesting.
yeah, I'll work on you with that with you if you want.
Okay, Charles. Yeah, it's just annoying.
Okay.
I've unchecked it like 15 times and it does not matter what I do.
Well,
That top
if you
mounted
want,
typed
you want me to
in.
log into your account and we'll check it out real
Sure.
quick?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll do it. But and then there's a thing I've noticed. I have sequenced my bedroom. Remember, I was telling you about bedroom views where I do primary bedroom. That's the first one, and then bedroom 2, 3, 4. Bedroom 7 keeps putting the no modifier to take a picture, and automatically at the bottom, I have to delete it every report.
Okay.
No matter, I'll uncheck it. I don't know if something screwed up in the order of things or the names, but every report it has that.
So which one's your
It's probably
template?
not in there now because I've deleted it. If you want to create a new report and go in, it'll probably be there. Off yep, Simplify SFI quick
Yeah,
template.
but is this the one that it's based off of right here?
Yes,
All right.
correct.
So let's start with the kitchen sink thing.
Yep. And then sinks.
So top mounted.
Yeah. So that word ends up over there in the blank space with the checkbox after farmhouse. It'll come up top mounted on my app.
Yeah,
And I'm
it's
like,
because it says use first option as a
oh,
default
geez.
value.
I didn't even, yeah, I thought I knew it
No,
was something I was doing.
yeah, so we'll hit save and so you should be
Perfect.
good now. Yeah.
Okay. And
And
then
just
the
so you
other
guys
thing,
know, that's a thing. So the reason I never use that, but if you, for example, under wall materials, you could have it always show drywall because
correct.
you're almost never going to find a house that doesn't have drywall in it. So anyway, that was the idea. Okay, so that's your kitchen sinks. What else you got?
The other was, let's see here, interior areas, and then the bedroom views. So yeah, it's right underneath kitchen
Oh yeah,
interiors. That's kind of my flow. I start in the kitchen and then I just start going through the house.
bedroom views.
So
So,
on the app, bedroom number 7 always print. Well, it's not pulling it up now. That should pull up a picture. But yeah, see that? That pops up underneath bedroom 7 every time.
I bet it's the same thing. Let's check it out.
It
Yeah,
probably
but
is.
yeah.
Yeah, and then see how primary bedrooms at the
No.
top? Whenever it print, I couldn't figure it out. Whenever it prints, primary bedroom ends up at the bottom. So it starts with bedroom number 2 in the printed report, bedroom 3, 4, and then primary bedroom. I'm like, why is it not at the top? I noticed, see the little no modifier 1A1-1? I
Yeah.
copied each one of those and just changed the name. Is that what I screwed up? Should I just do a different? If you notice, they're all the same modifier. I don't know if that makes a difference, but it messes up the order.
It doesn't keep them?
No,
I mean,
I
I
mean,
would think they would. You have show next to connected field value, don't you? I mean, you
yes, I believe
must.
so. Yes. That's all stuff I've learned and tried to fix. Yeah, put
Yeah,
no
you got show
modifier.
next to connected field value. So they would almost have to be right. They would stick right underneath these bedrooms, I would think, no matter what you do.
True. Yeah, that number 7 ends up. I mean, I don't know if you do a preview if it'll show up in there. At least on the app, it shows up every time, and I have to uncheck it or delete it. But that's the only 2 issues I've had.
Well,
I noticed.
they're not going to show in the report because they're not. You haven't clicked on it, done anything in there, right?
That's true. You're right. I guess it's just trying to get to the bottom of why it keeps posting.
Yeah, look,
Yeah.
7 is listed first.
Yeah, see, none of those order. I thought about just wiping it all out and rebuilding it because I can't fix it, and it doesn't matter what I do. And primary bedroom shows up at the bottom, even though it's at the top of the list. It has to do something with.
I wonder if I know why.
See, look at no modifier 1A1 is for bedroom number 7.
I
So
think
that's
the
going to
issue
print
is
that
you
first.
don't want these as inspector only notes.
Right.
True.
I think
Okay.
that's the thing. So now let's
Is that
go
the issue?
ahead. Because I
And
think
those
as
pictures probably don't
inspector
need to
only
go in the
notes,
summary,
like
correct?
it without them being with them being inspector only notes, they're populating in the order in which you selected them.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
You know why
now,
I did that? I think I originally did that because it was printing picture. I had all of the modifiers as picture.
yeah,
So it would print in the report with the word picture and then the photo. And I'm like, I don't need that. And I used to have the little icon of the camera and that
mm-hmm,
would print. And I'm like, they don't need to see any of that. I just want to show a picture of the bedroom.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think I manipulated that wrong. So see how the camera's next to it for the
Mm-hmm.
icon? Will that print the camera icon? That's why I think I unchecked or checked.
I think it will. Let's look.
Yeah. So maybe I just undo the camera and just have that pop up. Or
You
what do I
gotta
do?
have some, you have
You
to
don't have to have the
something.
checkbox print.
You have to have
checkbox
true.
printed.
You have to have something in there. Sometimes just a
Yeah, you got to
period.
have something. Now they're in the
Okay,
sequence that you want, you know.
that's true. Well,
So I
that
think
fixes that.
you might have to live with the little camera icon. It's not
Okay,
super
it's
obstruct.
not. You're right.
It's
You
kind of
know what
why
I,
I like the emojis for that, you know. But now your
Well,
sequence should be good.
Dylan,
well,
you
I
know
think
what
my. Go ahead, Charles.
I was gonna say what I use instead of the camera is I go in and use the Windows period, and I select a really big period.
Oh, that would work.
Okay,
There's
sure,
because it's still enough to show blue.
Yeah, you'd still be
true.
able to see it. But yeah, if you wanted to get rid of that, the other thing that is happening is because we're showing bedroom number 3, you actually don't need
You're
that
right.
to
Yeah,
show up.
Mm-hmm.
that was Dan. That came over from his template.
Yeah, so I
Uh,
think what you could do is delete that and then hit the save comment, right? Because
Sure,
you do want to distinguish these 3. I think you're
correct.
safe to do that. But anyway,
I think you're right. I
yeah.
think you're right.
So
I like that.
does that help, man?
It does. Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you.
Hey, Dylan, go back in there and edit the bedroom views. Just hit the 3 dots and let's look at something really quick. Like you grab any one of those. Now, if you look in the boxes down here, display options is checked boxes. You're seeing the options. Shows checked box and report. Maybe I'm not remembering what I was just looking at.
I
Looks
undid
like
those,
you.
Mike, because I don't like seeing all those boxes with a
Right,
check mark
right.
in it. It just
Oh,
doesn't look good to me.
no, I'm agreeing with you on that. But as
Right.
far as
Is that new? The options is buttons?
there's something else there to manipulate, but I
No.
can't
What
remember
what
what it
was
is.
Oh, options as buttons. Yeah, the options of buttons is new, and I don't quite understand what its purpose is.
you want to preview this again, Mike?
Sure.
So the check boxes aren't there.
Okay, you got the bedroom. You've already mentioned the bedroom 7. You don't need that redundancy in there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
Correct.
thing that
Because it,
the bug that is still seems to exist though, where it's like making an extra bedroom 7.
see it, there it is. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's doing that.
That's weird.
Okay, let's delete it.
But what I'm trying to think of is how you get rid of the checkbox that, well, it is gone. I keep going between the 2 views. There's a home gauge issue.
Yeah, I think that the checkbox is gone in the finished report.
Yep,
So
you're correct. You're
yeah.
correct.
Yep.
I might play
Yep.
around with just getting rid of this text. I think that'll kind of clean it up. But that almost bugged me
True.
more than the camera emoji. But
Yeah,
Charlie's got a good idea. If you use like a big period or something, you could probably even use like just a big dot as an emoji and link it to
True.
that. But then you won't have the camera. It'll just be kind of a little dot, you know?
Honestly, Dylan, I think the best thing I did was not using the picture modifier because it said the word picture, and I'm like, I don't need to tell them it's a
Yeah,
picture. They
exactly.
can,
You don't
by
need
doing
that.
no modifier, that's how I figured out that's what no modifier means.
Cool.
So,
yeah, you've got
yep,
some
awesome.
kind of legacy debris in there that I've had instances where this sort of thing happened. I had to just rebuild it.
That's what I'm thinking,
Yeah,
Charles. I'll
bedroom
just
number
rebuild the
7,
whole
I
thing.
might delete entirely and rebuild it. And
Yeah.
Yep.
I bet that'll get rid of that weird poltergeist thing
Well,
that's
and did you
happening.
see what I'm talking about? See where it says no modifier 1A or IA-3?
Mm-hmm.
But look at the sequence of numbers. It's not the same. That should be IA-7, right? Or 5.
Well,
See how
if
they're.
it's the third one that we picked, like this will
Yeah.
say that number 4.
Oh, that's what that is.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
this
Yeah,
will
that's
say
Okay.
That's one thing that
Okay.
Scriber does. It orders things in the order you pick them, not
You pick them.
necessarily.
yeah.
Maybe that plays
Which
off
is
what Scott's talking about.
confusing in the way this is laying out, isn't it? You know.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the
Yep.
only reason those are being numbered is because you're including them in the summary. So if you take that no modifier and take it out of the summary, I don't know if you wanted it in the summary
I
on
don't want
purpose
it
or
in the
not.
summary, Tim. Thank
Yeah,
you.
if you
That doesn't need to be in the summary. I
yeah,
didn't catch that. Thank you.
just take that off the summary and those numbers will go away.
Yeah.
Perfect.
The other thing is with the emojis. Do you use emojis anywhere in the report at all?
And no, primarily just for my tags. Charles helped me set up my tags. I use
Okay.
them in tags and I guess for like a camera picture to give us a visual cue that you're trying to take a photo.
So there is CSS to remove all emojis from the finished report, period. If you
Ooh.
wanted that, like then you can use it for
I
your
like that.
internal organization and just
That's
just say
awesome,
display
Tim.
none on every emoji, and then you can use the camera, but then it just shows up blank in the report.
I
Do
want
you
it
mind
on a
emailing that to
commercial.
me, Tim?
Yeah, message me at some point. I'm not at my
I will.
computer right now.
All
I
right.
think
Thanks,
you could
Tim.
make CSS just to eliminate the camera emojis, couldn't you?
You can, yeah, you can target a specific emoji, or you can just say I don't want any emojis in the report.
That's
Awesome.
Yeah, that could be cool. I
Thanks,
mean, then
guys.
if you can get rid of the redundancy of just that bedroom 7, I think you're ready to roll.
I'm doing that as soon as we get off here. I agree.
Cool.
Every
Yeah.
day I try to make it look a little more visually appealing.
Tim
So
Trickle.
Yeah, I mean that's the fun stuff about Scriber to me is like how it's kind of a never-ending toolbox if you're into it. Like, you can always make your reports better. I'm constantly floored. I'm still fiddling with new things all the time.
Rabbit
well,
hole.
that's what I told the realtors today. I said, just wait, it'll get better every report. And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah.
It's
At the
awesome.
end of the day, we're trying to tell our realtors and clients we want an inspection with us to be just clicking the easy button.
Yeah.
Making everything as easy as possible because
Yep.
it's a stressful time for everybody. So if you
Yeah.
can make the report better and smoother and easier, it works out better.
Love it, man. That's so great.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, no. Well, I appreciate you and Chris for volunteering. It's actually kind of cool to go into other people's templates and fix them, right? I mean,
Right?
I think it was good learning for everybody doing that. So,
Hey,
For
Dylan, what
sure.
about that new thing that Steve dumped on us this morning about the emojis for that go with templates?
Our templates.
Do you know about that, Dylan?
I refresh my memory.
Yeah, go into settings if you're in and see then report templates. See, oh, it isn't there. Oh, maybe a beta thing.
You mean log out of Jason's account?
Yeah, it was showing yours probably. Yeah, I thought that was that hasn't been released in general apparently.
Can I ask Jason a question, Dylan?
Sure.
Jason,
Go ahead.
in your template there with your 7 bedrooms, did you build it that way because you take pictures of every bedroom?
Correct. It helps me. I don't know if you heard earlier. If there's a problem in a bedroom, rather than having to say in the northwest or left corner, sometimes I'll modify. If bedroom 6 is in the basement, I'll just change
Okay.
the name of it to the basement bedroom. It just helps me if I'm going to say a problem, I can use basement number 7
I like that. I think I want to implement that into mine, but how do you add the camera feature where you can where like you had it set up? Can you explain
Dylan
that,
can help you
Dylan?
with that.
How do you add like when you're building a section like that and I've got to just this is why I put that post on Facebook last night and
Right.
for everybody else involved, completely embarrassed because I had no idea that there was a sewer scope template in Scriber. You're welcome.
Right.
But whenever I'm just getting brave enough to build some of these myself, and I don't know how to like do what how do you add the camera section?
Dylan will show you.
You
Do you
mean
have
It's fairly
you want
easy.
like you just want like a place to put pictures, you mean?
Well, just like how he had his setup, bedroom 1 through 7, each bedroom had the camera where when you click when you check the box there next to the camera, it automatically pops up to where you can add pictures. How do you add the camera part of that? I
Yeah,
guess is my question.
if you're using a Windows computer, if you hit the Windows and the period key, that brings up your emojis in your computer,
Yeah, yeah,
and then you
yeah.
can kind of choose one. And so then how you set something like that up, like I could build one in here. We could edit the section, and we could call this required photos. And then down here, I'll hit the Windows period key, and I'll get my camera. So, and then we'll add that field. So that's the first step, right? And then you can click on that. Nothing happens, but we built the field. So now we could use like a no modifier, and we could call this bathroom photos.
Like general photo. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, we've already got that in that template,
And then
but
we could add it to the library, and then we could select this little camera emoji and 3 dots, connect to fields, and boom. So now when you click on the little camera icon, you get that little bucket to put your photos.
Okay,
Dylan, I
sweet.
had a
Thank you.
suggestion. Oh,
Yeah.
go ahead, Rob.
No,
I
that's
had a-
no great. Yeah.
I had a suggestion for Steve that I sent in. That it would be nice if, as soon as you clicked on that emoji icon to take a photo, rather than it pull up an observation, that you again now have to click in to click on a photo. You know, I know in the app it'll give you the observation with a little camera, but that's 2 extra clicks. It'd be nice if you clicked on that in the app and it brought up the camera.
Just push and hold.
Just long press on it.
Yeah.
Oh, is that how? See, I knew there
If
was
you
probably
long
something.
press on it, it'll serve you right up to it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, man, like I'm having to click too many times to take a photo.
Yeah, just long press on it, and it'll bring you right into
Perfect.
it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Man, oh my gosh. I'm gonna start coming to
Yeah,
every
my mind's
meetup
blown right
from
now.
now on.
Dylan, do
I'm
you
not
still
missing another one ever again unless I have an inspection scheduled for that time.
There's always a golden
Exactly.
nugget. Just need a golden nugget.
I've been using
That's
this for
right.
2 years, guys, and I still feel like I'm a novice at this because I'm in a unique situation. I had a family tragedy I dealt with recently, and I'm just now being able to focus on myself and have the time to sit down and actually attempt to build my template the way I want it. So, 2 years, my 2 year anniversary was the 3rd of August, and I'm just now getting to one of these.
Well,
So,
hey man,
you
you
know,
got to deal with what life serves you up, you know.
right,
But
right. But
so
yeah,
you
I've
can.
been missing out for the last 2 years, and I can't imagine the compliments I'm going to get on my reports if I'm already getting the compliments I'm already getting. So,
The
and
sky's
that's a
the limit.
testimonial, guys. No shit. That's a testimonial.
No,
Dylan, Dylan, do you have an update to do?
I think
He
I do.
does. I saw it up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why you're not seeing that.
Oh, sweet.
I think I don't have